Welcome to my world. Except I don't hold
Yes.
my phone anymore, but I did the first few times.
And it started.
I'm sorry, lads. I'm sorry. I can't be asked. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you are doing well. And if you're not, it's understandable. Manchester United make their third semi-final of the season, finishing in third, of course, in the Premier League. But tonight's not about the Premier League. Tonight's about the Europa League. We lost 2-1 to Sevilla. Yes, the great footballing side that is Sevilla. The one and only, the mighty conqueror of the English clubs, Sevilla. Lots to talk about in the game. United obviously played well. You'll have a lot of volley outers trying to prove a point, but honestly, you can shove that agenda so far up your ass that it actually starts to clean your esophagus. And then what you can do is pull your ass out of Harry Kane's butthole and stop seeing what he had for breakfast this morning, because we don't need a number 9. We do not need any attacking players besides Jadon Sancho. Today was 100% on the defense. So if you want to hear our thoughts on the game, stick around, leave a like, and please do subscribe. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the game today, and how are you feeling after that roller coaster of a performance?
Well, it was like I was telling Moloto before we started, that I think today if I was on the field, I would have been banned from football for life, and I would have been put in the maximum prison, because I would have murdered Rashford, I would have murdered everyone in that defense. Well, okay, maybe De Gea I would let him go, because he really couldn't do anything. And I would have probably murdered that referee today, because, oh my God, I would have murdered Oli today. I say, no, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I'm very disappointed, because I tell you what, for me today, our midfield and Martial and Greenwood didn't deserve to get knocked out today.
Yeah, 100%. And Rita, what do you think?
Yeah, look, for me tonight, I think we saw two things. I think we saw that this team needs to be more clinical. And defensively, our defense is just not good enough. It's more on the defense, yes. But I feel like it's all good playing well, but if you don't take your chances, it's on you. It's your fault. And because we didn't take those chances, we've lost now. There's so many chances that we should have put away. The Fred one, yes, I know Fred is not a natural attacker, so you can understand him missing, but that's a chance, and a few more short chances, so that's on us. And defensively,
that's why we need Sancho badly.
Yeah.
This is why we need Sancho badly. This is why we don't need an Adama Traore.
Yeah.
We need Sancho.
Yeah. I think we saw that Man City when last night, Sterling, under pressure, that chance was sitter, he missed it, and you can't afford to do those type of things at this level. And you just need to have good enough. I feel like Martial finishing is not horrible. It's improved, but it still needs work. Rashford needs work. I think Greenwood's finishing is pretty good. So we can still improve ourselves in attack. Defensively, not good enough at this level. Absolutely not good enough. We definitely need to do something in the market if we want to go forward as a club. Because I think we played well with God. I think in terms of moving the ball, it was amazing. It was amazing. And it's saying that when you've lost is kind of weird, but it was amazing. I think I said against Copenhagen, I think Ole has been working on it, and I think it is improving. And I think we saw today, because of the space Sevilla was leaving, we could get through. And I feel like Sevilla were living on scraps. They had nothing going forward. So
that's what makes it so annoying. Sevilla did not deserve to win that game. But as I've famously said on this channel, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you take in football.
Yeah.
You know.
So this
is why.
It's our fault.
Yeah. Yeah. This is why I'm so anti when people say, "Oh, we need to play attractive football." Well, attractive football is great, but if you can't take your chances, the fuck does it mean, dude? Like Leon beat City, one of the most attractive sides, when on their day. But they can't do shit because they pass 158 times before they actually create a chance. You know what I mean? So just, to go back to what you were saying there, this is why I think we need Jadon Sancho. This is why people don't understand the frustration and the level of difference between a Jadon Sancho and the drop-off. Adama Traore is a good player. He's a good player. But are you telling me we sub on Adama Traore and he's the difference between us winning the Europa League and not winning it? I don't think so. This is why, for me, Greenwood is not ready. He is not a right winger, at least not completely yet. He needs time to develop and nurture himself into the role. I think at times he's way too selfish. A lot like Rashford, to be honest. His decision making is questionable because there was a point where he ran through, he cut on the inside, and he could have passed it back to Pogba, but instead he tried to do it on his own. And that's the problem. We need prolific right wingers who, if they're gonna shoot and they're gonna go for the shot and they're gonna try to do everything themselves, then they need to score. They need to be kind of like Mane and Salah are for Liverpool. If you've got a number 9 who doesn't score and is not a traditional number 9 like Martial or Firmino, you need the goals to come from the wingers. And if you don't have wingers who lock down that position, it's a problem. You can't have people doing a job for 10 or 15 games. You need someone who's going to do a job for 38 games and do a better job than 90% of the people who play in that position on this planet. You can't have someone who just does a job occasionally. Oh, yeah, his conversion rate is good. He gets a lot of shots on target. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. If you're playing with Harry Kane and Aguero, you don't need to score if you're Sterling. It's fine. But if you're playing with Firmino and Martial, you have to be the one who scores. Imagine if Salah and Firmino missed sitters on a weekly and just had weeks where they were just all form like Rashford's having at the moment. Imagine if Mane just was like, well, my conversion rate's great, but I'm still a youngster who needs to learn how to play at this level. So please be easy on me, guys. You think they would have won the league? I don't think so, And I'm not going in on Greenwood or Rashford. I'm just saying that at the moment, we don't have wingers who lock down that side, both sides. And I think Williams and Rashford are as telepathically incompatible as two strangers who've met each other from different planets and speak different languages with completely different, I don't know, they live in completely different matrices, So it's really frustrating. And just on the defense there, to respond to what you said about the defense, I mean, we can talk about this defense, but at the end of the day, Brandon Williams is a 19-year-old who should never be playing out of position in a Europa League semi-final. That's number one. Number two, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for me, there's massive question marks around this guy. I'm not questioning his quality or anything like that, but he's been crap since the beginning of lockdown. So I'm not going to start calling him a crap player, but people were lubing him up like he's bloody Roberto Carlos, prime Roberto Carlos, calling him the greatest of all time, this, that, and the other. He's not the greatest of all time. He is inconsistent and young like everybody else in that team. And this is evidence of why Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not ready. He's not the guy we should be trusting with, if you bet your house on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I feel sorry for you because you're going to be homeless for a very long time, But he's still a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's still a good player. Maguire, oh my God. I can't believe we spent 80 million pounds on that fraud. I tell you what, let's get into the player ratings.
Look, before, I just assume, and maybe there's a little bias in this, but honestly, I prefer Maguire over Lindelof. And for me, Maguire just needs a partner who's going to cater to his weaknesses, really. But besides that, I think he has a lot to offer in the air, on the ball. This guy's offers us a lot, but he has weaknesses and he needs someone to work with him. And
you have a point.
Is not bad.
You have a point. And I'm not going to tell you to like Victor Lindelof over Maguire. If you like Maguire more than Victor Lindelof, that's your opinion. It's whatever, man. It's whatever. I'm not here to entertain that debate. I'm here to say that Harry Maguire is not a captain. He should give that armband to someone else. I'm here to say that Harry Maguire should not be playing the most minutes in world football this season. Like, if you're playing with bloody painkillers and injections, you shouldn't be on the field. If that's your excuse for how poor you're playing, I'm here to say that Lindelof was not bought for 80 million pounds. He was bought for 40 million pounds. I know that's unfair to some people to judge a player by their price tag, but that's the modern game. The reason why Griezmann is a flop at Barcelona is not because he's a bad player. It's because you don't pay 120 million pounds for someone to be decent and do a job. You pay 120 million pounds for someone to come in and be as close to the next Messi as you can possibly get. With Maguire, we're buying a player who's supposed to, I don't even know, blood. He's supposed to be a monumental figure amongst that back four in a few years, and just right now, I can't see it. Like, there's some things that Maguire has made mistakes that have nothing to do with his weaknesses. For example, today, his positional awareness, there was no pace involved there. Maguire didn't need to be quicker. He didn't need a yard of pace. He was just out of position, and he was ball watching. Professional fucking footballer here in a semi-final, ball watching. When you should be the one commanding the back line, but you're ball watching. You're just staring at the ball, and there's no one behind you because Williams is still trying to backtrack to his position. You know what I mean? It's things like that that piss me off with Maguire. And I think I'm not going to be one of those people that call him trash because I think you're 100% right. With the right person next to him, He could be the next big thing. But hey, so can Lindelof. So can Smalling, you know? So can the bloody guy who plays next to Koulibaly at Napoli. Bro, like, Mascherano was a world-class defender when he played next to Puyol and PK. Prime Puyol and PK, bro. Like, I'm not knocking Maguire, but like, the argument that he just needs someone next to him it doesn't help in these current circumstances because it's just, you know, with Maguire, it's just frustration. You know, it's frustration at the fact that he's supposed to be a leader and his leadership skills are lacking, not just his abilities.
I definitely agree that he shouldn't have done that. I think we saw Bruno calling out Lindelof after he wasn't marking his man, and that's what we need in the leader. And I think our captain should definitely be Bruno.
Yeah, it's not even about that though. You know, I hear a lot of people saying Maguire should be more vocal, he should be this, that, and the other. It's not even about that for me. Yes, Maguire should be more vocal. Yes, Maguire could definitely be more of a role model and have more of an influence in that dressing room. But for me, it's not even about that. For me, it's the same argument I was making with Lionel Messi the other evening when we were talking about Barcelona. You don't wave a magic wand and all of a sudden everyone starts playing better. What you got to do as a leader is lead by example sometimes. You have to be the one that says, gents, listen, yeah, like I'm doing the most here. Maguire can't even say I'm doing the most. He can't even say, gents, what's wrong with you guys? You can't point fingers because it's him. That's the problem. And that was the problem with Messi the other evening. The reason why people are looking at him as such a bad leader the other evening, it's not because Messi doesn't talk a lot. It's not because Messi's body language isn't that of a leader. No, it's because he was invisible. He's one of the best players in the world, and he was invisible. There were things that Messi could have done better in that game to have more of an impact, and people would have looked at him and be like, wow, look at my captain. I need to be more like him. And that's the problem with Maguire. I've often said that he's an exemplary figure, and that's how he should lead. But I'm starting to question it now because if you can't be an exemplary figure in terms of not making stupid mistakes, not having positional awareness, calling out simple plays, marking your man, then I start to have serious questions about whether or not you can be a captain, you know? Because does Brandon say, I want to be like Maguire, and that's how I'm going to become a better left back? No, he's looking at Maguire like, well, nigga, you also been fucked up this evening. And that's the problem with Maguire at the moment for me. It's not that he doesn't shout, it's not that he doesn't yell, because Bruno's yelling did nothing. Lindelof still conceded, bro. Like Bruno's yelling looks nice. It looks nice, but it did nothing. Remember when McTominay raised his fists against Everton? It did nothing. Yeah. It looks nice, but it did nothing. If Pogba suddenly does this, he's like, come on, gents, we need to play. It does nothing. You're not going to win against Sevilla because you banged your chest twice in the old. You know, so that's just my personal opinion, anyway. But we can get into the play ratings, man.
Yeah, you guys can still hear me and see me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You're not looking like the Incredible Hulk anymore.
Yeah, because I switched back to the PC. It's finished.
That's crazy. Anyways, I hope everything's going well. We're having a bit of technical difficulties this evening. In case you are wondering, if you are a living, breathing human being, please smash a like on the video and stop wasting space in this world. Help a channel grow. Help a brother out, please. That I need it. I need it, not just for my therapy and my mental health, but we're actually trying to grow a genuine fan community. I can't speak English. I promise I did go to school, though. David De Gea, out of 10. What are you giving? Whichever one.
So hard. Like on paper, on paper he conceded 2 goals, but I don't really blame anything on De Gea today. Would I have started De Gea today? No, but would Romero have done anything if he was lucky? But I'm not gonna blame De Gea. I think I wouldn't have put him in the limelight today. I think now, where would De Gea's head be at after that game like that even? So I'm gonna give De Gea 6.
Yeah, look, I definitely think Romero deserved to start, but De Gea did nothing wrong, and he couldn't have done anything about those goals. So, but then again, you can't give someone who's conceded 2 goals a high rating. On top of it, didn't do anything extravagant. So I think a 6 is a good rating.
100%. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Spider-Man, the guy who wasn't there today. He definitely wasn't the worst. I think he was at fault for the first goal, to be honest.
Second half, he was good. I think second half we picked it up, but then again with that second goal, what happened between him and Lindelof there, and the amount of crosses that come in between our fullbacks is ridiculous. Like, it's actually ridiculous. It annoys the shit out of me how many crosses we allow into our box. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but at the beginning of our season, like when we were defending, for me, our Aaron and Luke Shaw or Williams were like over here. They were here when they were in defense. But now it feels like whenever we're defending, they're not on the wing. They're like here, like another centre back.
Now, can I tell you why I think that is?
Just
Can I explain
ridiculous.
why I think that is? This is about to be the biggest nugget of wisdom that you will take away from this show. It is because Manchester United are not playing the same way they were playing at the beginning of the season. I think at the beginning of the season, we were a very defensive team. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did not trust us in transition defensively. So like when we lose the ball up the pitch, he didn't trust our fullbacks to go back. If I don't know if you've noticed, but ever since the restart, our fullbacks have been pushing up a lot higher than they usually do. And that is because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been going for it in games. Now, I think what has happened is because our fullbacks are not used to being on the defensive or like going up and down the whole game, it's very difficult for them to track accurately and keep their composure / discipline, especially for Williams in transition under this new system that we're playing, because it's a lot easier to stay in position when all you have to do is just wait for the break. But when you're trying to be the team that's dominating the game, you're trying to actually score a goal, and then you lose the ball because of a stupid Pogba pass, but you were on running and waiting for that pass. Now you got to, like, you know what I mean? Like if Wan-Bissaka's running down the flank, waiting for Pogba to play a diagonal ball over, and for whatever reason it doesn't get there, he's now got to run back and track and try to stop the attack, if that makes sense. Whereas before, we didn't have that. We didn't have anyone playing balls over the top or across in quick transition. So everyone was just sitting back in a way. I think that's what's causing it. And it could obviously be other things, but I think because our fullbacks are pushing up so high up the field, their positional awareness is being exposed because they're now having to run back and forth throughout the entire game. And I think the mental fatigue is coming into play, at least with Wan-Bissaka. For Williams, I just think it's a lack of experience. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents. What do you think of Aaron Wan-Bissaka then, Rita?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I was just saying, I didn't give my rating. I was going to give Aaron 5.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to give Aaron 5.
5. Yeah, no, I agree with the whole mental fatigue thing because I feel like this man is not the same. Eh? The quality, he looks very, very average. Today, he wasn't pushing forward as much. I feel like it's because he didn't need to. Maybe it's because the way we were playing, and I thought Greenwood took care of that wing, so that's fine. And he did push up sometimes. Even when he did, he wasn't very productive. And defensively, looks very average. He's on and off. He had his moments.
He crosses in, man.
Yeah.
Like
committing fouls nowadays. He never used to do that. So
yeah,
maybe our season ending now and having maybe a decent break would be good for him. But there's question marks, as you were saying. He's not that player at the start of the season who everybody thought was player of the season, was consistent game in, game out. So it's a bit worrying. But I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, and remember, this is the point I was trying to get across when we had that debate about why Barcelona have fallen so far away and why Bayern Munich is so good. Remember, people would have been studying Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They would have been studying how he plays as a player. Sevilla would have done their research. And I just think with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he hasn't changed his game fundamentally. You know, nothing's changed about Wan-Bissaka other than the fact that he's just tired. To blame his performance purely on fatigue for me would be a massive discredit and disrespect to the teams that have broken us down on that left-hand side. Because Sterling couldn't get past Wan-Bissaka, you know. So I think there is a bit in that, you know. Obviously, I'm not a member of the Sevilla coaching staff, so I don't know what they see in Wan-Bissaka's weakness. But there's definitely something that teams are doing a bit differently against Wan-Bissaka than beginning of the season, because it does not make sense how a player... You can't just blame it on tiredness. You can't just blame it on tiredness. Surely if he was that tired, he would have picked up an injury by now, or he would have been rested. Surely, you know, it can't just be tiredness. Tiredness does play a part though, so it's an interesting one. Lindelof out of 10 then. I think he was our best defender, to be honest.
I also think so, but that second goal, oh my goodness. That was a master disaster class, what I like to call it.
Yeah, I really wish he didn't concede.
And you know what? Yeah, like I also wish, because I would have given him like an average 6. I'm like, listen, you know, in the defense that was horrible today, at least you kind of did your job. But when we let that in, and you know, him trying to defend himself against Bruno, I was like, you know, again, that's what I'm saying. I would have been suspended today because I would have put one right on his jaw, right on it, clocked him same time, because that was a disgrace. That man was quicker to defend himself than to defend the cross. That's what it was like. So you know, I was Lindelof, and I prefer Lindelof over Maguire in the recent weeks, but shocking. I think defensively shocking. I'm gonna give Lindelof a 4.
The opinions of 23 to 5 do not reflect those of the RDA. We do not condone violence on this channel. Please, this is a disclaimer.
But I'm telling you, if I was on the field, I was going to clock someone.
Yeah.
Mandev going to be standing out at Woodward's house with flares tonight, begging him to take out his wallet. Anyways, sorry about that.
Look, I thought he was okay. He did his job, but I didn't see anything extravagant about him, to be honest. But I guess no one played well in the defense today, so you can't really put too much on him. But he should have been watching his man, and he wasn't. And he was a very big blame for that second goal, right? For the second goal. Yeah, so I think it deserves. I think it deserves a 4.
100%. Maguire out of 10. Captain England / Captain America /
the captaincy needs to be dropped from him.
He needs a bloody holiday more than anything. Forget the captain.
This holiday will do him well. Yeah. So, but you know what? That armband needs to be removed still. If I was him, I'd be looking like next season. He's got to turn up because you know what? I know he probably still won't get dropped, but at the moment he's the defender I'm dropping. I won't lie to you. I'm dropping Harry Maguire. I thought today was shocking. I didn't see any leadership. I didn't see anything about him being a captain. Defensively, he wasn't there. That first goal, how everyone just he ball watched it. He actually ball watched that ball come in. And, you know, again, it was just shocking. And, you know, to think that this guy again, it's not his fault that he cost 80 million, but I want my money back, fam. This guy is ridiculous. You know, I would rather have Smalling. I would honestly rather have Smalling.
That's the thing about
giving Maguire 2.
Yeah, that's the thing about the modern game. You can't drop someone who's on 80 million quid. And this problem exists everywhere in world football. You can look at Barcelona and look at the ridiculous wages in that starting 11. It's like, how do you...
I'll drop him because, you know, I got the spine and I got the ball suit. I'm like, I don't care. I'm dropping him. But I don't think Oli is going to drop him. I think Oli likes Maguire.
Yeah, I don't think any manager in that position could possibly drop Maguire after spending 80 million on him. You know, like that. I just don't see how that would fly with the board. You know, the people above would hate you if you drop Maguire. As a Manchester United manager who asked for him. Oh, crap.
Look at Mourinho. He was complaining about Bailly and Lindelof, and the board said he getting nothing. You asked for these players, so you're going to play with them.
Exactly. You can't fault Oli for not dropping him. You can't drop someone who costs 80 million pounds. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not defending Oli. I'm just saying I understand why he won't, because you can't do it. You'd get eaten alive by Woodward if Bailly and Lindelof don't win a bloody Ballon d'Or next season. You know, it's just the way it is in the modern game. But what did you think, mate, of Maguire?
Yeah, no, I agree with Shinny. I think he was partly blamed for the first goal, so that was bad. But I think his aerial dominance was really effective today, and I feel like he snuffed out a lot of danger in the side he was playing. They played a lot of aerial balls, and he was first to them. But that's what he does. So can I really commend him for that anymore when he has so many other frailties? So,
yeah.
I'm going to give him a 5.
Yeah, no, I honestly think I agree with Roy Keane on this one, man. Like, you shouldn't be allowed in the bus. Like, Maguire.
I'm not kidding. Like, if I was there, someone's getting knocked out.
Well, I mean, that sounds nice. That sounds nice, you know. That sounds nice, but it does nothing. Punching Maguire in the forehead doesn't result in a win against Sevilla. You know, it sounds nice for Roy Keane to talk about how if he was in the dressing room, heads would turn or whatever. But that's not why we lost today. You know, like, can we just stop with all this ex-legend crap, putting your hand over your heart, complaining that Pogba's wearing a bloody blue shirt in the derby? Like, it's the passion merchant stuff gets annoying sometimes. But anyways, Williams out of 10.
Oh,
he's 19. He's 19. I said this, and I got crucified on this channel. And I said this, and Shoni wouldn't have it. He was in love with Williams.
Listen, going forward, Williams is great defensively. Goodness gracious.
I disagree. I think going forward is terrible. I think him and Marcus Rashford do not work at all.
I don't know.
Him and Rashford definitely
no. Weirdly enough, today I disagree. I think today I thought they combined the best we've seen today. It wasn't great. It wasn't Luke Shaw and Rashford good, but I thought it was better.
Yeah. All I want to say with Williams is he's young. I miss my boy Luke Shaw. 1 out of 10.
Yeah, this is why you don't play a 19-year-old in the Premier. It's not even the Premier League; it's the Europa League. But this is exactly why I said Williams should not start ahead of Luke Shaw, and it's not his fault. But I would have preferred Fosu Mensah, to be honest, because at least Fosu Mensah has more of a mature head on his shoulders.
In defensively, Fosu Mensah trumps him.
Honestly. Easily. Like, you can't play a 19-year-old in the semi-final at left back. Such a crucial position next to bloody Slabhead, of all people. But anyways, what did you think of him?
Yeah, as I said, going forward, I thought it was better today. I thought him and Rashford were connecting a bit better. But defensively, shock. He looked very uncomfortable and was to blame for the first goal. So I'm going to give him a 3.
Yeah, mate. But like, for me, people saying Williams was a little bit better today is like saying, water is tasteless, but if I add a bit of sugar, it tastes a little better. No shit, it does taste a little better because you added sugar, but it's still water with bloody sugar. Why don't you get yourself a fizzy drink or something, or some tea or coffee, and then you'll taste the proper taste buds, But I get where you're coming from. I'm just frustrated, to be honest, to be completely honest. Fred, out of 10. This should be interesting because some people think he had a worldie today on Twitter.
Yes, and I definitely agree. I think Fred, last game, I praised him. I think today he was given a chance, and I was like, maybe not many people would agree with this, but I think he took his chance today. And I think, you know what? Ollie is maybe thinking, this is Fred getting prepped for next season, and maybe that's the way to go forward because maybe he knows, Matic, he doesn't have the leg and things. And I think Fred today, amazing. I think Fred, he did amazingly well. Defensively, he was on it. He never gave up. He got the amount of tackles he won, interceptions. I think when he had the ball, he released it very quickly. He never stopped going. Work rate I commend him on that work rate. And, because Fred is known for having a good work rate. So I was really impressed with Fred. I'm going to give him an 8.
Interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I think going forward, he kept in the same vein as the last game. I think the commentator described it as the quarterback role, and he was doing that very well. And we are very good in transition. We're very quick in transition. Match is not bad at it, but Fred is much better at it. But Match is definitely better defensively, and I thought defensively he struggled today. I think he was slightly better against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Because it's Copenhagen. But I feel like today, with slightly better players, I feel like he was being pulled from 6s to 7s. So, yeah, I think that hindered us a little. So I'm going to give him 6.5.
Look, all I would say about Fred is I can pull up stats to make any player look good. I can pull up that dumb stat that Lindelof has never been dribble past this season. He's the only defender in the Premier League who's never been dribble past. Oh, wow, he's the best defender in the league because he hasn't been dribble past. With Fred and people talking about how many interceptions he gets and how many times he wins the ball, I respect your opinion, but stats don't show how Matic controls the midfield. Stats don't show how Matic sits in front of that back four and creates a shape that Fred doesn't. Stats don't show how Matic holds that pivot way better than Fred ever could, even if he had the best, rubber gloves with the best grip technology. He couldn't hold a midfield together, blood. It's just, he just can't do it. Not yet, anyways, in my opinion. Defensively.
What I noticed is not like when he was playing with McTominay at the start of the season, there was 2 of them. Now Pogba's playing more of an 8, a bit further forward. It was working well with Matic. But what I saw today, Fred then also pushes up because he's a more attacking player. And then the recovery is you don't see it.
It's terrible because you see Mundem like Maguire and Lindelof not knowing what the hell to do. If Matic is there, there's a bit of order. Like, people don't want to hear this, and I'm going to start sounding like Ricky, but when Matic is there defensively, there's order because he's always in the middle and he's always able to keep that sort of shape. I think we needed Matic today because I think for all the work Fred did going forward, it meant nothing because we were as toothless as a coloured from the Eastern Cape with no teeth, blood. Like, I don't know what else to say, man. I don't know what else to say. But anyways, Pogba, out of 10.
I think at the first half he started slow, but then I think second half he turned up. And I think that, then he started linking. I thought Pogba was he got hard done by the ref today, I think. As soon as the game started, there was 3 fouls on Pogba that weren't given, and then the foul that was given against him was nothing. It was just it looked like a joke. So it looked like Pogba was getting frustrated, but then I think at halftime he was like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I do. I know what I'm doing. I'm an experienced player when it comes to high level situations, and I think second half he did a lot better. So yeah, I think Pogba, he was looking at it. I think Pogba was very frustrated. I think again this way, I love Fred and I love what Fred did today. But I do agree with if Matic was there, I think Pogba would have had less frustration because he knows at least Matt's just there. He's got that covered.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I normally do. So I think Pogba was a bit more like I don't know if I can push up as much. And then he's looking at Greenwood. Greenwood's inexperienced. He's not seeing Pogba as much. And I think Pogba was just getting frustrated. But other than that, I think he still played well. It's not the Paul Pogba that could win you a game on his day, but yeah, it wasn't that bad. So I'm gonna give Pogba a 7.
Yeah.
No, I slightly disagree. I thought he was amazing. I thought he was fantastic. I think we've been saying this for the last couple of weeks for Pogba. The consistency is insane in terms of attacking play. And it's the complete contrast of what it was when they were hammering him, saying he's inconsistent. What position does he play? He's found his position, and he does it game in, game out. Positioning is brilliant. He moved from being very attacking and playing that link-up play, drop deep, play the long balls, and he does it consistently throughout the whole game. So, yeah, I could even say he was the best midfielder. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, and then this next guy, some people say he eats ice for breakfast. He shits snow. He farts dry ice, and he has a penguin in his backyard. That he pets every morning. Bruno Fernandes out of 10.
I'll be honest. Bruno was fantastic. He was my man of the match without a doubt. Bruno looked like he ran everything. His passing was on point today. Penalty-wise, cool as a cucumber. I was smiling because even my dad was getting triggered. What do you guys do to score penalties? What do you guys do penalties? It's fun. But that's what I mean. Is it Bruno's fault? It's not Bruno's fault. So I think his shot taking was good. His decision making today was good. It was like just some were risky, but today I felt like he was really on it, and it showed. Today he was my leader. He saw at Lindelof. He was like, "Dude, what do you think?
Yeah.
This is a semi-final, fam. Like I want to win this."
And he led by example because he actually.
And he led by example. Yeah, he led by example. Bruno was perfect to me today. Honestly, I seen him 1 point being a centre back even. So I can't fault Bruno. I'm gonna give Bruno 10 out of 10. My man of the match.
Yeah, he did actually clear the ball from defense. Like not even joking. And I've seen him play left back as well.
Bruno for me was ridiculously good today.
Yeah, I think we need to start the trend. Captain Bruno. # Captain Bruno. Hashtag sack Maguire.
Demote Maguire.
I think he looked back to his best today. So I have nothing much to say. He was all over the place. And the penalty, oh my gosh, beautiful. So I'm going to give him a 7.5. Okay, what am I saying? I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him an 8.
And to all the if there's any rival fans watching the show, first of all, stop calling us Manchester United because it only makes us smile and we inject the toxicity. If you really want to go at us, make some more Harry Maguire memes. That's a bit more annoying. Second of all, it's a fucking penalty, dude. Can I explain when you get penalties? You get penalties when you're in the opposition's box. Not your own box.
More than one penalty as well.
Yeah, we should have gotten 2 penalties today. But anyways, you get a penalty when you were on your way to score and you get fouled. In other words, the other team does something wrong to prevent you from scoring that is out of the rules of the game. And then you get awarded with this thing called a free kick. But it's not a free kick in the original sense of the word. It's a free kick inside the box. And so it's called a penalty, so people don't get it confused with the normal free kick from outside the box. And here's the kicker. How many penalties does your favorite player score? If it's so easy, how many penalties does your favorite player score? Because I tell you what, I've watched Messi, one of the best players of all time, miss some absolute stinkers, when it comes to penalties. So please, stop with the Manchester United. We love it. We actually love it when you guys call us Manchester United. We inject it. Please. You're making it too easy for us to banter you guys when you're trying to beat us.
I understand questionable penalties, but if you look back at most of our penalties, they're clear cut. So I don't know what they're complaining about. And we've always gone a lot of penalties. When we were getting them and missing them, they were complaining, saying, "Why does Rashford miss so many penalties?" Now that we're getting too many penalties.
I mean, it's the life of a Manchester United fan. Man City spend £750 million in 3 seasons and lose to Leon. Nobody cares. But we buy one centre-back for £80 million and he gets nutmegged. Oh, the Twitter's breaking. The Twitter's breaking. The whole world's going to end. But anyways, Marcus Rashford, Marcus absent Rashford, Marcus anonymous Rashford. Marcus, he doesn't even know how to play football, Rashford, out of 10.
You know, before I lose the
Negative
shit, Veloso,
scores
you
are
can go first, boy. You can go first.
Guys, I thought he was better, to be honest. I thought he wasn't bad today. I feel
He
like
was better than usual, but he needs to
Honestly.
simplify his game.
I feel like he wasn't doing what he does, where he sticks to the wing and then he's not very productive and disappears. I feel like he was dropping in much better today, linking up much better, which is what
He was actually going at defenders. He was actually going at defenders today.
I've been complaining about that. I've been saying that he must pass the ball, make a run, and link up and try to be productive because what he was doing wasn't being very productive. And taking on defenders, as you were saying, he was much better today. I thought link up with Thingy, with Brandon Williams is better, but I don't think he was clinical.
Him and Williams don't work. Him and Williams don't. He needs a fullback who will overlap and understands the way he plays better behind him. And I just think with Marcus Rashford, he needs to simplify his game. I've been saying this. Like a lot of people are saying he needs to go at defenders more. No, that's not how you play yourself out of form. Going at defenders is good because you need to create problems in the semi-final. You can't just be passive. But at the same time, you have to find a way of benefiting the team and not trying to do everything yourself. And that's my criticism of Greenwood tonight as well. But people won't complain about Greenwood because at least his shots reached the goalkeeper, but he didn't score. And so with Rashford, it's the same thing. I think one of them needs to always be calmer than the other. You can't all do it all. You can't all be Ronaldo. One of you, it's like a band. One of you has to be the tambourine player. You can't all sing lead. And when you're off form, play the tambourine and play with a smile on your face. In the famous, to quote the famous Chris Rock quote. But anyways, what are you giving him out of 10?
I think he deserves a 6.
I think some people will say. So, yeah, fair enough.
Marcus Rashford. The player that frustrates me the most. I'll be honest with you. No one frustrates me like Marcus Rashford. It's because I want this guy to do well. I see potential in Marcus Rashford. Like I said, that I don't know if even Rashford sees. Maybe actually, sometimes some would argue he sees too much because he thinks he's Ronaldo and stuff like that. But today he didn't look like he had a first touch. The dribbling is ridiculous. Brandon Williams playing behind him doesn't help. I thought his decision. I don't know. I'm worried about Marcus Rashford. I'm really worried because I don't. Will he get back to how he was? But I can't tell you that he can. So I'm hoping he does. And United fans need that old Rashford. But I'm stressing more and more, and every week when Rashford comes back. Maybe when Luke Shaw comes, he gets better. But does he get as good as the old Rashford? With the new teams around him, with the quality of players around him now, does he have to do that again? Do we have to see a laid-back Rashford? So I don't know what Rashford's future is like at United. Obviously, he's a fan favorite and he's from our youth setup, but I'm really worried about him. And I just hope next season his head is up because for me, it looks like there's something. Oh, there's an echo.
Well, there was a bit of an echo there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. Oh, I can still hear.
Well, you can go ahead and give him your rating. I'll speak afterwards.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping that I think there's something going wrong with Rashford. I don't know what it is. Only Rashford will know and things like that. But today, it's crap. Today was horrible for me. I'm gonna give Rashford a 1.
Interesting. Wan-Bissaka did nothing right, but you're going to give him a 5 and Rashford a 1. Interesting. But anyways,
if he didn't win that penalty, I would have given him a 0. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an agenda. Like Rashford wasn't that bad. Like a 1 is.
I feel like he was more productive today, honestly.
Yeah, he was way more productive than your favorite right back since I don't even know the best right back, Roberto Carlos, whoever your best right back was before Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I can name 3 players who played worse than Rashford today, but that's not the point of what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say with regards to Marcus Rashford is, I think this proves how reactionary some United fans are. It's actually embarrassing how reactionary some of you are. Like, when did Rashford go from being the one-dimensional winger to the best winger in Europe to, oh, I'm worried, I don't think he can be the best winger in Europe again? Marcus Rashford was never one of the best wingers in Europe. He's not one of the best wingers in Europe. He's a player who had a really good season in a struggling Manchester United side where everything went through him because there was no one on the right-hand side. There was no one. Dan James, Lingard, Pereira. Those were your options. Those were your 3 options. Or Mata, if you want to count him, because Ollie loves playing Mata on the right wing. So 4 people on the right-hand side / Cam could not do a job. Marcus Rashford was the only thing we had for the last 6 months. No Pogba, no Bruno. Martial was injured for a period of time, so no Martial as well. No, not the Mason Greenwood that's playing right now. So not prime Mason Greenwood, more like Mason Greenwood, who wasn't really sure what position he's going to play in and just comes on for the last 5 minutes and scores a lucky goal, right? That was why Marcus Rashford played well, because everything went through him. But at the moment, I just think because Luke Shaw's missing, because he was injured and he suffered one of the worst injuries you can actually suffer as an attacking player in your, I don't even know what that place is called, that spinal, your vertebrae, whatever. One of his vertebral discs was fractured. It was a stress fracture. That injury is going to take a lot of time for him to come back, because there's a lot of subconscious trauma that comes with injuries like that. Like at the highest level, you don't just go back to playing the way you were before you get those types of injuries. Like you actually have to rehabilitate yourself and get your body used to trusting itself again and performing at the highest level. You see it all the time. Ousmane Dembele at Barcelona with these hamstring problems. It has a psychological impact on how he is as a player, because every time he tries to play, his hamstring's just like, not today, buddy. And it happens. There's so many examples. I mean, Phil Jones spoke about it famously in an interview, saying that his head is there, but he just can't stay fit. And it's the most frustrating thing as a professional athlete, when you just want to play, but you can't do it because your body is not letting you. My point is, I think Marcus Rashford is going to work his way back into form. And at the moment, he doesn't need to be the same Marcus Rashford he was 4 months ago. And I think he needs to simplify his game. I really do. Like, you can't be Mr. Ronaldo when Bruno Fernandes and Martial are right. Like, why are you doing flicks when there's someone right behind you, 5 yards away, you know? All you have to do is turn around.
That back heel he tried doing to Williams. Oh my goodness. When Pogba and Bruno are right there. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He needs to simplify his game. So for all the people saying, I don't know about Rashford anymore, his skill and his talent hasn't gone anywhere. It's just his head is in the wrong place, because for a period of time, he was all we were relying on. Now he needs to learn how to be a team player. And I know it sounds like I'm being a hypocrite, but the difference between him and Bruno Fernandes is Bruno Fernandes is a 10. Bruno Fernandes doesn't need to simplify his game, because if Bruno Fernandes simplifies his game, he becomes the next Lingard. He doesn't need to simplify his game because he is where everything goes through, much like Rashford was. Rashford isn't that anymore, so he needs to learn how to be a team player. That's the difference. The left wing position and the cam position are very different. If you're playing in the cam position as Bruno Fernandes, you cannot simplify your game. You cannot change the things about you that make you Bruno Fernandes. But if you're Marcus Rashford, you don't need to be that player you were 3 months ago. Calm down.
If you watch Jadon Sancho, he's everything one Rashford to be. It's very simple. He does the simple things: pass and move.
He's very skillful.
Make the assists, and for that he scores a lot of goals and gets a lot of assists.
But the problem with Marcus Rashford is not that he isn't skillful. It's not that he can't take on defenders. It's not that he can't score world goals. It's that he tries to score world-class goals too much. He tries to take on defenders too much.
Simple things get it done as well sometimes.
Yeah, like sometimes, like in player career, I hate to bring this to FIFA, but in player career, sometimes you don't need to run through the whole team. Like sometimes you can just pass to the AI. Like sometimes you can just get an assist. Sometimes when your player's not in form and you want to keep getting selected by your AI coach, you just do the simple things. Even in real life, if you want an analogy. Sometimes, whether it's in high school, at varsity level, amateur,
like even at my Inter team, like if someone, like if I see someone not like having a stink like Rashford today, I'll be like, you know what, I'll bring on this guy. He's not really the best, but I know what I'm going to get from him is the simple things, right? He's not going to do he's just going to do the job.
You have to be, sometimes you have to be versatile, and that is what I personally believe is the problem with Marcus Rashford. It's not a confidence thing. I see people throwing around the word confidence. You telling me a guy on 22 goals and 7 assists doesn't have confidence in himself, and that's why he's not scoring. Like, people throw around this word confidence again like it's some sort of magic wand. Like when you press a button in your head, everything will start working. And I just think it's massively naive. But anyways, moving on. Martial out of 10. What did you make of him today? He didn't score, but he had a good game.
That's my only fault for him today. Like, I know the keeper was on a mad one. I still think he should have got 1 goal out of those chances. I would have bet money that he would have scored on. If you showed him those 3 chances he had, or you would probably say, safe to say, Martial would score one of those. But that's my only fault today. It's like he needs, like I agree with Malot. I understand why Malot likes like more classic strikers, but I think Martial can do that. I think he can. I think he's shown a lot this season how much he's improved. And you know what? All I can say is, this guy's he's the player. This is the player now. And again, I feel sorry for him because I don't think he deserved to go out today. Like I don't think the team as general deserved, but I feel sorry for people like Martial, people like Bruno, like Pogba, Mason. Like what are they going to think? Like they played their socks off. They worked so hard. They played to the best of their ability, but at the end of the day, the team defensively let us down. So those guys will be fuming. But I don't think this will get really to Martial's head. I think Tony will come back next season even better. I think he'll surpass everything as long as he keeps fit and nothing bad happens. I think we'll see a more lethal and dangerous Tony Martial, especially when we have a better informed Rashford next to him. So yeah, but today, Martial, what a blessing he is. I love Martial. He's my number 9. I wouldn't trade him for anything. His dribbling today was good. He possesses a danger when he's going forwards. Hold up today was good as well. I thought he was a bit unlucky with some of the referee's decision.
Hold up pass.
Yeah, but and that assist to Rashford that led to the penalty. Oh my word, that was class. That was proper class. So yeah, Martial always has something like that in his bag. So I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think he's on the route to become the complete striker. And like I've said, I want Kane here and there, but like I have to give credit where it's due. Like this season, he came in, and the whole big thing about him was hold up, and it was brilliant. And on top of that, he added goals. Goals, I think, is where maybe he needs to slightly improve, but he's improved. You see with the numbers, but he just needs to be more consistent about doing it, more consistent about getting those classic striker goals, those positional goals, and the long range goals. Because I think there was a shot today where I think he should have put it in, but he didn't.
The finesse one.
But what I've realized in the last few weeks, what I thought he lost from moving to the wing and becoming a striker is skill. So the ability to make your own chances. And like in the last few weeks, it's been out of this world, and it's been really troubling defenses. So yeah, he's an amazing player. He's going to prove a lot of people wrong. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Well, yeah, with the whole Harry Kane thing, you can take your Martial agenda, right? Buy a bottle of baby oil, lube up your ass, and shove it up where the sun don't shine.
And we've seen a lot. Yeah, we've seen a lot of Martial haters turn. So like we need new haters for Martial because the old ones became fans.
Yeah, and like actually live in the world and watch some football. Maybe stop looking at what Harry Kane.
Yeah, like how can even if you're neutral, how can you watch Martial and not like what you see? Like it's ridiculous.
Also, can I just add, by the way, whatever your opinions of Harry Kane, he's an amazing striker, whatever, cool. We get it, bro. We get it. He's really good. He's one of the best, like if it wasn't for Lewandowski, he'd be up there. We get it. How does Harry Kane fit into the team today? What does Harry Kane do differently that Martial didn't do? I tell you what, Harry Kane doesn't pass to Rashford. And
he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that scoop. Yeah.
Harry Kane
he doesn't drive. He doesn't drive. Yeah.
Lewandowski shoots. Lewandowski probably scores, to be fair, but Harry Kane, with his blood hamstring injury, might not score. You know why?
If you want me to defend Harry Kane, I feel like he would definitely have scored one of the chances, and maybe would have gone 2. There was one chance where it wasn't really clear cut. It was a bit of a long range, but he should have.
I think Harry Kane.
And Harry Kane would have definitely put that in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't even know if Harry Kane would have been in the right position because he's so bloody slow that he couldn't win a bloody 100-meter dash against a snail compared to Martial. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just maybe I secretly have an agenda against Kane. You let me know in the comments down below. But honestly,
Martial's
if you prefer Spurs, go. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying I'd replace him. I think logically, this guy is much better because he fits the mold of the modern player, and he's got so many more attributes. But with Harry Kane, yes, he's had a bad season. And you never know. Maybe a bad season could lead into a spiral of bad seasons. But I think he's class. He's a brilliant striker.
There's no doubting that Harry Kane is class. There's no doubting that Harry Kane is class. There's no doubting that Aubameyang is class. There's no doubting that Aguero is top class. There's no doubting that, all these players are class. But do they fit into Manchester United's system? No, they don't. Liverpool wouldn't trade Firmino for Harry Kane in a million years. It wouldn't work. Harry Kane wouldn't give so many assists to Salah and Mane. And I don't care what anybody says. I get where you're coming from. I'm not saying Harry Kane isn't a good striker. Please don't twist my words. He's a better goal scorer than Martial. I get that. But Harry Kane doesn't pass that ball to Rashford, and we don't win that penalty. Harry Kane doesn't give up a penalty for young Mason Greenwood. Harry Kane just doesn't do that. Harry Kane is a selfish striker who wants everything played through him and a team built around him. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why he's one of the best strikers in the world. But I don't want him at United, anywhere near United. You can keep Harry Kane on.
Yeah, because someone who said, I can't remember who said it, but if you had to say go to Liverpool, would you trade Firmino for Harry Kane? Nope. Go to City, would you trade Harry Kane for Aguero? Nope. Would you go to Chelsea? Would you trade Werner for Harry Kane? Nope. Would you go to United? Would you trade Martial for Harry Kane? Nope. So he doesn't get. Would you go Arsenal? Go to Arsenal. Trade for Harry Kane? Nope.
I don't completely agree with that, honestly. I think
Werner maybe, because Werner's versatile and is quick and can do the hold-up thing. Werner maybe. Aubameyang maybe. But the problem with Kane for me is he doesn't have the agility of an Aubameyang. He doesn't have the pace of an Aubameyang. He doesn't have the pace and the work rate of a Martial or an Aubameyang or Firmino for that matter. No, Kane is a very selfish number 9.
None of those teams I mentioned, I don't think any of them trade their strikers for Harry Kane.
Yeah,
I'm not completely sure. I think the Liverpool definitely not, because I feel like the system works so well with me they wouldn't. But Pep, I can see him doing it because I feel like they've struggled with like the clinical side when it comes to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And I feel like having someone like Harry Kane is a class above in terms of finishing. So I can see that. And I've seen him for that type of quality. I've seen him try work his system with Lewandowski just to fit the class, because this guy is just a class above everybody who's there. So I can kind of see that.
Kane going to City, I can see that. I just meant for United, maybe not so much. But yeah,
and
Kane going
to City. If he came to United, personally, if he did come to United, I'll be okay with a team being built around him. I'll absolutely.
I wouldn't. For me, it goes beyond your preferences. It goes beyond that. It's if Harry Kane came this season, and Martial left, I personally save up to buy a plane ticket to England, and I would stand outside his house and yell at the top of my lungs for the rest of my life, because you're telling me you want to replace one of your player of the seasons. What about Maguire? What about Williams? What about right back? What about?
No, I don't think it's something. I don't think something that should be done. I'm just saying. No, I know.
And I'm not knocking you. I know you. Obviously, you wouldn't trade Martial for Harry Kane right now in these circumstances. But there's a lot of people, ex-players even, who seem to think that the problem at Manchester United, the difference between us and a Liverpool, is Martial. And it blows my mind, because which team have you been watching over the last few months that you think the biggest problem and the number one priority? Oh no, forget Sancho, forget Koulibaly. That's a waste of money. Let's go spend 200 million on Harry Kane. There's people like
proving a lot of people wrong. Scholes was one of those guys. I don't know why United are not looking for number 9 like Harry Kane. Then he sees Martial play one game and he's like, oh, okay, so that's why he plays number 9 every week for United. So
my thing is,
he's proving everyone wrong.
Let's pretend Martial isn't that great of a number 9. Let's pretend Martial scored 20 goals by fluke. Wouldn't you rather keep someone at the club who scored 20 goals by fluke and is one of your players of the season, undoubtedly in your fan base, and who's young, over a bloody fraud of a captain, over a bloody fraud of a left back, over a left back who can't stay fit, who's very good on his day but can't stay fit, over a defensive midfielder who's nearing the end of his career? That's what I don't understand about the Martial agenda. It's similar to the De Gea agenda. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying about Dean Henderson. But mate, you're wasting your precious time on this earth. You're wasting your precious carbon dioxide molecules and oxygen molecules arguing about who's better between De Gea and Henderson and Romero when there's bigger problems in this team. Like, you think the most pressing issue is us getting someone in between the sticks. Oh, I tell you what, you're going to be disappointed, because if what happens when Henderson has a bad game, which he inevitably will, you know what I mean? What happens when Harry Kane just misses a sitter, which he inevitably will, It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. These agendas that live deep within our fan base, and even in some of these bloody ex-legends who are pundits who get paid thousands of pounds, to talk that crap that they get fed through an earpiece or notes that they have on their iPad on the bloody table. It's sad.
It's a strange one, because Harry Kane is definitely a world-class classic number 9. But then if people aren't playing to those strengths, who's the better player then? Because in those situations, Martial can make something, can still contribute to the team, but Harry Kane can't.
It's like a Liverpool fan going in on Firmino and saying that's the biggest problem at their club. It's like, what are you on about, mate? Like, even if you're right, what are you on about? There's more pressing issues. That's my argument with the whole Harry Kane thing. Like, you're wasting your time, because if you are going to use your entire transfer budget to sign a world-class number 9, but you've got no one to pass the ball to him because Bruno's injured and Pogba's is just not playing well, or the other way around, what's your grand plan to win trophies again? So these ex-legends really frustrate me. But anyways, we're diverting away from the topic here, gentlemen. Mason Greenwood out of 10. What did you think of him this evening? Not his best game, but his worst game.
Yeah,
I think it was amazing.
Yeah, I agree on a certain level. It wasn't the amazing Greenwood that we know and love, obviously. But like I said, every time Greenwood is on the field, he's a threat. He is a threat. You know what you're gonna get. And I think today I thought the only criticism I have of Mason Greenwood, which I also said in the preview, I thought Oli might change something, is because today we've seen inexperience from Greenwood. It's like certain decisions he made, he didn't have to make. Yeah, it looked a bit selfish. Again, it's a semi-final. You could just square to Pogba. You can just I understand. You're full of confidence.
Yeah.
You're banging in goals. You're hot in form. You're 18 years old. I understand it. But yeah, it's just that's what happens when you play an 18-year-old. Sometimes. But again, like I said, going forward, Mason Greenwood is, oh my goodness, he is dangerous. You can't give this boy a chance. You can't. You have to close him out. And he's just the way he's progressed this season is ridiculous. You can see how more physical he is now. His strength. He is fast as well. He looks 10 times faster than what he was when he started playing. So for me, Greenwood is always a threat, and I think today Greenwood played well. Not his best. He could have created a bit more, but I've got no faults on the kid. So I'm gonna give him also a 7 out of 10.
I wish he was at number 9. That's all I'll say.
What I like, and maybe you guys can remind me, because you're saying that he was a bit selfish. I remember that one chance where he dribbled to past a lot of players and could have passed and shot and didn't, but that's the only one I remember. I think what I liked about him specifically today is how productive this guy can be. And I compare him to Rashford. Rashford gets the ball and it's like he has to think about it twice and he's not sure what he has to do and he can't take on players. Greenwood gets it and you can really see he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah,
he looks so comfortable. I'm going to run at you, I'm going to take you, and I'm going to beat you. I'm going to get the ball and pass and make a run. And I just loved it about him today. And I thought he was very productive in doing it. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Being selfish is not a criticism of Mason Greenwood. It's a criticism of our team as a whole, as weird as that sounds. Because if Greenwood's selfish and Rashford's selfish and Martial's also like, well, hell, I'm going to take a finesse shot from out of the box, then we have a bad game against Sevilla. Then our decision-making looks dodgy. Then people are banging on their tables and throwing stuff off or at their bloody TV because we're missing shots. Yeah, that's
how I feel about Rashford. That's how I feel.
But that's the problem with Mason Greenwood being selfish and Rashford being selfish and everybody else in the team being selfish. We need to have a system that means more than people stat padding and working on their personal stats. So I ain't knocking Mason Greenwood for being selfish today, but I personally think if he's going to play like that, he should be played down the middle. And he should be used as an impact player when we get Jadon Sancho. Whether that means he comes on and starts in periods where Marcus Rashford or somebody else in the team is playing like crap.
Yeah, Greenwood will still get time. Like I said, I have full faith in the kid being able to bench stuff.
I feel like murmurs have been gaining about who's actually going to get dropped. Is it going to be Rashford or Greenwood?
It could be Rashford. It could be Rashford. But to be honest with you,
if it was me, I would bench Rashford. But I'm not the boss.
Most Manchester United fans are very reactionary. First of all, next season's a new season. That's number 1. Number 2, statistically, Marcus Rashford is better than Mason Greenwood this season. So you cannot drop a player based on his last 8 games in the season in a new season when he played well the entire season. That's number 2. Number 3, Marcus Rashford has more experience on the left-hand side than Mason Greenwood ever will have because Mason Greenwood hasn't played on the left-hand side nearly as much as Marcus Rashford. So there's no evidence to suggest that he will score 20 goals on the left-hand side and get 7 assists.
Okay, I don't support it, but it doesn't have to be him. I've seen Sancho play a lot of times.
Let me just finish. Number 4, reason number 4. When Jadon Sancho comes to Old Trafford and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking at that team sheet for the first few games, I don't think he's going to drop his number 10, and I don't think he's going to drop.
He won't drop Rashford. There's no chance he's going to drop Rashford.
Yeah, that's another thing. But also, I just think Mason Greenwood, he'll try to preserve Mason Greenwood. He clearly enjoys keeping Mason Greenwood fit and taking him off at the appropriate times. I mean, against Copenhagen, he took Mason Greenwood off for Mata.
You took him off today as well.
Exactly. So for me, actually, reason number 5, just to add on, Mason Greenwood is young. He's going to be inconsistent, and he needs to be nurtured. That's another reason why I don't think Rashford will get dropped. Should Rashford get dropped based on the last few games? If the season was continuing, hell yeah. But next season is a new season. You know, the season's done now. The season is done now. You know, there's a lot of players who deserve to get dropped in that team, but the season is done now. And this break between now and the next season is going to affect everybody. So it's going to be a reset for everybody. You know, you can't be reactionary in football. If Pogba has a bad game first game back, are you just going to drop him and be like, oh wow, he played badly, let's play Fred? No, it's Pogba. You're going to keep him on. And we saw this after lockdown. The best players played when Fred and McTominay didn't play that well because it's just the way it is. And then they took their opportunity, luckily. So that's what I think will happen with regards to that. But I honestly think Mason Greenwood should play down the middle, in my personal opinion. I don't care what anybody says. I think this kid would be if we did not have Martial, God forbid, I think this kid would be lighting up the Premier League down the middle.
No, I'm just checking his stats, compared to Rashford's played 44 games this season. He's got 22 goals, 11 assists, which is mad. So that's mad. And then Greenwood has played.
And remember, Greenwood came off the bench in most of his games, so it's not even a true reflection of how good he'd actually be. But
Greenwood's played 51 games, but we know how many of those were off the bench, and he's got 19 goals and 5 assists. So, but, we just have talent in our hands. Greenwood is freaking. Oh my god, this player he could be anything he wants to be. He could be the best player in the world.
Look, there's no denying that Greenwood is an exceptional and generational talent, but if you're telling me he should be starting over Rashford in all of these games, well, then, for me as a person who likes Marcus Rashford, at least Marcus Rashford wouldn't have gotten the stress fracture. Greenwood would have. But anyways, I think it's silly. It's a silly argument in our fan base. Why do we want to pin players against each other? Why do we want Martial to retire the number 9 jersey for Greenwood? Some people actually think that Greenwood should be our new number 9, which is it's completely bonkers. Where's the evidence to suggest that this kid can score 20 goals in a season consistently? I think it's silly. I think Mason Greenwood off the bench for Jadon Sancho, Rashford, or Martial makes me lick my lips more than a spare rib steak sitting on a plate with the best barbecue sauce in the world, fam. It's appealing to me in so many ways that I just think the argument and pitting these players against each other is complete and utter rubbish. The reality is Mason Greenwood didn't start as much as Marcus Rashford. Mason Greenwood didn't get a stress fracture injury. Mason Greenwood didn't carry Manchester United like Marcus Rashford did in a period where we were struggling, because Mason Greenwood isn't Marcus Rashford and Marcus Rashford isn't Mason Greenwood. And neither of them are Martial. They're all different players with different stories and different careers to write at Old Trafford. Can they not just get along? Can they not just serve the same team? Why does it have to? These arguments really piss me off. But anyways, as long as it's all in good spirit and not corrosive, your opinion is your opinion, and as long as it's well thought out, I respect it. But anyways, I think. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer before we end off as a rating. First of all, the only thing I fault Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with today is first, I understand why he doesn't make changes, but if you're not going to make changes, don't make changes. I don't know if that makes sense. Why?
Why are you bringing them on with 3 minutes? That's good.
Yeah, if you're not going to make changes, don't make changes. If you are going to make changes, make them sooner. That's all. That's my only criticism of Solskjaer.
That's my criticism. I'm disappointed with Ole in that regard, because yes, I understand you look at your bench, you're can I trust these players? Can I trust them? But if I look at from my point of view and my opinion, I'm looking at that game, and I'm thinking about Rashford. For me, Rashford's having a stink of a game. He's not really doing anything for me. Also Williams on that side, and I'm thinking, how can I change? Then I look at my bench.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Who would you have brought on for Rashford and Williams?
Okay, so this way, I would have I was thinking, I was gonna bring Igalo on, and I would have put Martial at left wing and Igalo down the middle. That's what I would have done for Rashford. And then for the the Williams one, as crazy as it sounded, I wanted to bring on Matic and Fred to be left back.
Like I think
yeah,
it's just
5 minutes
different.
again.
It's just different perspectives
yeah.
because at that moment it was 1-1 and we were dominating. So I can see in Ola's mind that we're gonna win this game. So I need to let these lads, my best players, just do what they do best. And when they score, I'll make subs. So it's a tough one. But personally, if you're asking me what I would have done, I wouldn't want to change too much because we were dominating. But I would bring on one matter because I feel like as much as we're being creative, a little bit more creativity against a team that's very defensive will help.
Yeah. I mean, it's all circumstantial at the end of the day. We can all sit here and be geniuses and act like we're the next Sir Alex Ferguson and like we deserve to be at the United job, but we don't know what we're talking about because you never know. First of all, Igalo's been crap since he's come on at the beginning of lockdown. Like, he hasn't really done anything. And is that because he's a lack of opportunity? Maybe. But who in their right mind would start Igalo over Martial? So it's understandable why Martial's gotten the minutes. So all this nonsense about Igalo playing better, I mean, could he have done a worse job than Rashford? But does he have the legs? Does he have the legs to impact against the Sevilla side? You know, are we playing the right system for a striker like Igalo? I don't know. So the Igalo one's weird for me. Mata, I hear you. Mata came on. He was a legend. He was an absolute legend.
Well, the last game, yeah. The reason for the Mata one is also the last game.
Yeah.
When Mata
so
came
Mata,
on
Mata, I hear you. I'm not going to waste my precious oxygen and time on this earth trying to knock Mata. I hear you. Dan James, could he have been worse than Rashford? I think he was. So Lingard, he hasn't gotten, like for all the criticism Marcus Rashford gets, Marcus Rashford has more
That is one
goals,
sub I'll never make. I will never make that sub.
had shots on target this season. Like, so you telling me Lingard on for Rashford would have been the difference between us making the semi-final or not? Okay.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Weird opinion. Okay. Yeah. So
Lingard wouldn't be traveling with him. He would have been gone.
Yeah. And then I look at the Williams thing and I'm like, yeah, Fred left back. Yeah, but Williams, maybe he was the reason we lost today, but Fred isn't a left back. So putting Fred at left back isn't really going to make that much of an impact on our defense. I get it from a tactical point of view of someone who's trying to win a game of football, like take off one defender for an extra attacker and move an attacker to a defensive position. I get that logic, but at the same time, you never know. Fred might have had to defend and actually be a left back, and we might have conceded another goal and gone 3-1 down. So, people saying that Oli should have used subs just have a bad case of the what ifs tonight. Like,
but I am disappointed. Don't get me wrong. I'm disappointed that he didn't make changes. That's my opinion. So I think the way.
I guess.
But
I respect it.
I'm just saying it's ridiculous.
I'm just saying it's circumstantial. I'm not disagreeing.
It is.
I'm saying it's circumstantial. In hindsight, we're all geniuses. In hindsight, we could all say, "Hey, you should have made a change. You should have made a change half an hour earlier." But that's not.
It is very circumstantial. But like, I guess that's just the nature of the beast. If you don't do it, it's your fault. Yeah. You didn't make a difference when they needed a difference.
Ollie's going to go down with the ship today. You will go down with the ship.
Yeah. What sucks? I don't want us building a reputation of being bottomless, which you can say we have been in the last few years.
We've been in 3 semi-finals.
Okay, but the thing is, right, with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's his first season. It's his first season in a top 4 club. It's his first season in a top 4 club. Lampard lost the FA Cup final. Lampard got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. Lampard got embarrassed in the Champions League 7-1 to Bayern Munich. Okay, cool. Arteta got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. Or Arsenal got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. Arteta finished 8th. Well done. He won a trophy. Well done. He's not a bottler. His team, his mentality is so much better than Ollie's team, but they finished 8th. We finished 3rd.
But I wasn't really comparing us to Arsenal.
No, I'm not knocking you. I'm just putting this out there. Food for thought, if you want. Okay, cool. So I've destroyed Lampard. I've absolutely bantered Arteta. Well done, you won an FA Cup, but you can enjoy it with Thursday Night Football next season. Okay, cool. Mourinho, greatest manager of all time in the Premier League besides Fergie and Wenger. Okay, let's see what he did this season. Got knocked out by Norwich in the Carabao Cup. Lost to Norwich in a preseason friendly before getting knocked out of the FA Cup. Okay, finished 6th in the Premier League or 5th or wherever they finished, but not in a top 4 spot. Okay, cool. I guess his team also has a mentality issue. Okay, cool. Pep Guardiola spent £750 million and lost to Lyon, lost to Tottenham. Tottenham, who only made a Champions League final and bottled it. So they also had a mentality problem before they hired Mourinho. But okay, cool. So Pep won no trophies this season except the Carabao Cup. Well done, you won a Carabao Cup, but we're only one spot behind you. So it doesn't really mean that much. Your mentality is so much better than ours. But you bottled the Champions League, you bottled the FA Cup against Arsenal, against bloody Arsenal. So I guess they have a mentality problem as well. Okay, cool. Let's destroy Klopp. He won one league title in 5 years, and his team won their first league title in 30 years. Their mentality is so much better than ours. It's not like we've won 13 in the last 30 years, but okay. What did he do in the Champions League? What did he do in the Carabao Cup? What did he do in the FA Cup? Did he make 3 semifinals? I don't know. Did he make third after being 14 points off third? I don't know. Did he go on a 20-game unbeaten run? Actually, he did.
Yeah. But for me, it's more like, that's their business, That's other clubs' businesses. For me, Oli is United. Oli should have clutched it up today. This team should have clutched it up today.
I get it. You're saying it's Oli's business. They should have clutched it up. But to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has a mentality problem is a bit weird.
I didn't say he had
It's not a mentality. It's not a mentality thing, but
it's not a mentality.
I feel like with Chelsea specifically and this game, we're building this reputation, and not just this game as well, last season as well, not making the Champions League, being in a good position. I don't want us building a reputation of being almost there, and specifically maybe Ole being almost there, but not being able to get over the line.
Yeah,
it's not good
that makes sense. That makes sense. But, it sounded like to me, to quote you a few minutes ago, you said you don't want to build a reputation of being bottlers. When somebody bottles something, it means they choke, which means they have a mentality problem. And I get where people are coming from. Yes, over the last 7 years, we have bottled things. Over the last 7 years. How long has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer been here? Like 18 months? No, shorter than that.
Like 1.5 years. Like 1.5 seasons. 1.5 seasons.
1.5 seasons, but it was 3 months, and it's, I guess, actually it could be 18 months because of the lockdown. Anyways, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been here for less than 2 years. Yeah, because that 3 months got taken away from us because of lockdown. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has only been here for a short period of time. And in that time, we've gone on our best run since Sir Alex Ferguson has been here, not just because the football was attractive, but because, for one, we actually were the first Premier League team in history to beat 3 or 4 teams in a row by 3 or more goals. That's amazing. We played beautiful, attractive football. We actually were 14 points off third, and we somehow clutched it up, boys. That, to me, is not a mentality problem. That, to me, is a team that is on the cusp of breaking it past the barrier. And because of how young our team is, it's all the more impressive. I look at Mourinho and Van Gaal's sides, and there were some grey-haired frauds who were absolutely sitting on high wages, who did not deserve those wages to begin with and did not deserve to play at this club. The shame that people like Di Maria and Memphis Depay and that piano-playing South American fraud have brought to that number 7 jersey on their overpaid wages is absolutely disgusting. And I think as soon as we get rid of that dead wood, that mentality problem that everybody keeps moaning about will slowly start to fall away. Because I tell you what, the players that play today, Brandon Williams is 19 years old. You can't blame him for a mentality problem. It's obvious. You don't play a 19-year-old at left back who's right-footed in a semi-final against a team that's 19 games unbeaten in the La Liga. You don't do that. Cool. Harry Maguire, you don't give someone the captain's armband after 6 months. After 6 months when they've played so badly. Cool, we've killed that part. Lindelof is Lindelof. I don't know what we expect from Lindelof. He's had a mentality problem, so I guess he counts. Cool. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's been run into the ground, and we don't need to talk about him. Fred, he's playing as a DM for the first time, and some people thought he actually played well today, so he doesn't have a mentality problem. Cool. Bruno Fernandes, Pogba, they played well. Cool. Who's left? Marcus Rashford. He's had a bit of a stinker in the last few weeks. But hey, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be relevant because he actually scored 20 goals that helped us be 14 points away from third and not more than 14 points away from third. Martial has finally put those haters in the bin, blood, by actually scoring 20 goals in a season. He's actually shut up the haters. Greenwood has had season
as well.
Yeah, so that starting 11 is promising, right? Is promising. Let's look at the bench. Let's break down the bench. Matic, he's old. So if Matic had a mentality problem, it's not Ole's fault. Ole inherited as part of that squad. I'm pretty sure Matic will move on in a long time. Not that he does have a mentality problem, though, because he's been one of the best DMs in the Premier League, according to some people. So he's good. Mata, he's old. That's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's fault. Cool. Jesse Lingard, he was very much a part of that Mourinho squad. And he is definitely a part of the mentality problems we've had in the last 7 years. Like he reeks of that bad reputation United. And he's only scored 2 goals in the last 18 months. He's been absolutely awful. Him and Pereira. That's where the mentality problem starts. Because when you get past Lingard and Pereira, forget Romero. Romero is fine. But everyone else on that bench, that's where the mentality problem starts. Lingard, Pereira, Jones, Rojo. Smalling's not there, so it's not his fault. Bailey, who's always injured. Tonzebe, who's always injured. Delo, who's just non-existent. We don't even know what's happening with Delo. We don't even get injury updates on Delo anymore because clearly something's happening behind the scenes. So my point is, when you look past that starting 11 that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has built, that's when the mentality problem starts. And you know what? There's a light that goes off in my head that says, bingo, that is the squad that Van Gaal and Mourinho built. And it's just it's a diluted version of their nonsense and their bullshit. And I just think with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to say that there's a mentality problem that is there is fair, but it's weird. It's like saying, and I know that's not what you're saying. I get what you're saying now, but it's like saying Arsenal are crap and that's Arteta's fault. And it's like, yeah, because he's the manager, but he just got you. Give him time, you know? And so for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when I look at all the stuff he's done this season, good and bad, to be in third with 3 semi-finals is actually not that bad, you know. And Sevilla, for all the discredit they get and disrespect they get, they're actually a good team. They're actually a good team. They beat a lot of Premier League teams. So I tell you what, lads, once you've calmed down and you've actually had time to think about it, losing to Sevilla is not the worst thing that could have happened. An atomic bomb hasn't gone off in your city and you haven't lost your home. It's okay. It's okay. We've made 3 semi.
I'll end my thoughts on this. Like I was like, you know, Oli, if I had to judge his season on the whole now, I'd say it was average because he achieved the goal. I would have said it was good if you brought home a trophy for me.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I think it was good. It was good enough, I guess. And and what's this mentality problem? I mean, like, I don't want us to grow the reputation, and it affects us even in the future. I don't think we can blame things to a mentality problem right now, because I think every team has a mentality problem in a certain type of way, because psychology plays a big part in football. So I think Man City have their own problems as well. I think it's a very big part of why they lost to Lyon. So
they were caught in the bloody Champions League.
Yeah.
Plus Pep played at the back, to be fair.
So anyway, I see the Barca as well, like being thumped so many times. I know we have been thumped. I feel like it affects them in terms of mentality, because I feel like as soon as they go 1-0, 2-0 down, the heads drop too much. And that wasn't a thing with Barca. In the past few years, we've started to see that creep into the team.
Yeah. But I do think mentality, like you say there, a lot of teams have a mentality problem. I think, you know, yes and no. I think people use mentality problems as a scapegoat. You see it all the time. Oh, he's lacking confidence. No, he's not lacking confidence. If he was lacking confidence, he wouldn't have shot from 50 yards out. What kind of person who's suffering with self-esteem decides to shoot the ball into Rose Ed from 50 yards out and thinks that's going to end up?
It's a weird one, because you see Man City, and you can say it's a confidence thing as a whole. Because when you're the best and when you know you're the best, you play like the best. And you see what Man City, since Liverpool has rolled in, they're the same team with the same players, but then it's not as natural as it used to be because of that mentality.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? People will say Manchester City lost because it's of a mentality problem. But you know what's funny? Manchester City, didn't play a back three, at least not this year. Up until that point,
it's not everything.
That's immediate. That's an immediate red flag. Lyon are actually having a bloody good season. They knocked bloody Ronaldo's team out. You know, Ronaldo FC. Everybody thought Juve was going to pull a miracle and win the bloody Champions League. Well, all the plastics who followed them there, anyways, because of Ronaldo. They actually got knocked out by Lyon. And whatever your opinion of Sarri is, the guy won the bloody Serie A, and the Serie A is not really a farmers' league, so you have to give respect where respect is due. Juventus are a good side and Lyon beat them. So, you know, for me, yes, City do have a bit of a mentality problem, but you can't blame everything on that. And I think football fans love using mentality problem as a scapegoat. But
I think
when you look at the patterns, let me just finish. When you look at the patterns, I mean, you talked about Barcelona being thumped. When you look at the patterns, you can always break it down to a core set of things that made a team as bad as they were. And it's, yes, sometimes it is mentality. Sometimes it is mentality.
I think,
but a lot of things, it's things that are overlooked, like playing a bloody back three.
Yeah.
Like,
what
why?
I'm trying to say, though, I think mentality is always an evolve, though, because what happens will sway your mentality to a certain direction and will make it worse or better. So I think psychological issues will always play in certain things like football.
Definitely. You're 100% right. But for some people, it seems like some people just blame it on mentality, and I've always thought that's weird. But anyways, if you enjoyed that show, please do leave a like on the video. It has absolutely no impact on your life, but it will help this channel grow. And I don't know why you haven't done it yet. You bloody methane contributing, oxygen sucking, space wasting human being, freeloading on our videos and not helping the channel grow. Shame on you. And please do subscribe on you as well.
Okay.
But yeah, share the content as well if you did enjoy that, because I tell you what, that was very therapeutic.
So if you stayed at the end after this, like 1 hour and 8 minutes, you're a champion.
You are a champion. Well, I mean, you're a champion if you left a like. The first time I told you to leave a like. But if you haven't left a like, you still haven't left a like after I just told you why you should leave a like. I tell you what, you can get. I'm just kidding. But anyways, peace out. It's been your boy, Julian. You can end the recording, mate.